What's going on, and welcome back to another less than 5 minute gear review. And in this video we're going to be going over the Eido Gear Tactical Medical Tourniquet Pouch and Elastic Shear Holder. Now this guy's going to cost you roughly around 15 bucks. It does come in black, tan, and green, and is actually pretty well put together for what it's worth. So I do know quite a few guys in the special operations community and in the law enforcement community that are running this and are pretty happy with it. Especially guys that are medics. I found that those guys really do like this because they have the ability to run a lot of the equipment or additional equipment that they need on different panels or on the front of their plate carrier or on their gun belt. So you do have some options when it comes to setup and placement. But with that, kind of going over the actual pouch itself and its construction. So it's made out of, it feels about like 500 denier Cordura. So it's pretty good, pretty robust. Up here at the top, you do have a loop to be able to help retain your shears. And then on the actual body, you have the shear pocket, which is right there, if you guys can see it. So this little pocket right here on the interior is your shear pocket. So that's where you'll throw your shears, and then this exterior portion with the elastic loops is where you're going to throw your tourniquet. I don't know what this little loop here at the bottom is, but I would venture to say that you could probably attach a really small carabiner, especially if you're a medic. You could attach a small carabiner to this and then have kind of a Chem-Lite bundle for a casualty collection point connected to it, and then just run a hair tie around this pouch to help hold that Chem-Lite bundle into place. And then that way when you need it, you just pull that whole thing out, break it off the carabiner, and then set up that casualty collection point. So just food for thought when it comes to this little tiny elastic loop here at the bottom. On the back side, we have our standard MOLLE. No issues here whatsoever. As far as construction goes though, with the stitching and seeing that it's made in China, everything along the MOLLE is all double stitched, so there shouldn't be any issues there. I have yet to hear anybody say that the stitching is blown out, but with that, you definitely can tell, like some of the stitching up at the top here, it's not perfectly straight. It may not be an issue, may not be a problem, but if you're super big on the cosmetic stuff, you know, you're probably going to run into a few issues right there. But when it comes down to it, it isn't a bad pouch overall. The guys, like I said, absolutely love it who use it. So with that, we're just going to throw this thing together so that way you can see what's going on. So with that, with the trauma shears, it doesn't really matter which way you throw these in here. It can be left, it can be right. So it's really down to personal preference and what is the most efficient way of getting these out of the actual holder itself. Now with that, you can thread your retainer or that Velcro loop through like that, but there is a risk that it could definitely get caught. So I would recommend, you know, with this, probably leave that closing loop portion on the left hand side, so that way when you're trying to pull this out of the pouch, this is going to pass through that opening a little bit better, or a little easier than being the other way. But I will say it does look a little bit cleaner in this configuration. So be kind of up to you. The other thing you can do is just open that up just a little bit like so, Velcro it closed like that, close it back up, and then boom, this comes off and it comes right out. So you have options as far as how far you want to go down the rabbit hole in retaining your shears in this pouch. But that's what it'll look like when that's set up. And then for the tourniquet, I would recommend putting the tourniquet in with the closing loop portion up on the top, so that way this doesn't fall out when you're running around, because if you set it up like this, it does have a tendency to want to come out just a little bit or shift just a little bit. So with that, I would go top down. That way this guy is not going to move on you at all. And these loops are pretty tight, so you're gonna have to work it in there through these elastic loops. So I'll get this set up for you. So you can see these guys are tight, and it is nice, to be honest, because just helps with making sure that your equipment isn't going to work its way out on you. So got the top one on. All right. So that's what it'll look like when it's all put together. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Overall, I would say it's probably worth it when it comes down to it, even though it's an airsoft company. So with that, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We will help you out in any way that we can. And with that, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.